Hello, everyone, and welcome to another MASH session. I'm delighted today to be joined by Rick Stainton of Smyle. Now, Smyle's an agency you've probably seen mentioned in lots of award-winning news stories. Trophy cabinet is not empty, that much I can tell you. So, Rick, it's great to have you with us today. For the benefit of those people who may not be familiar with Smyle, I'm hoping you can give yourself and your experience a bit of an introduction.
Thanks, Martin. Appreciate the opportunity to have a chat. So I'm the co-founder and group executive director at Smyle. We've been going about 16, 17 years now. We feel that we're one of the leading agencies in the industry now. I guess awards help recognise us, but it's really down to the growth of our client relationships, our talent of now just over 110, I think it is, full-time staff. And I guess the range of clients and genres that we participate in is pretty far-reaching. We deliver, everything from client sort of experiences from internal audiences to external audiences from a B2B level, as well as a B2C experiential approach. We do live concerts, we do the opening ceremony of the Ryder Cup, we do trade marketing stands, we do about 100 plus video event sort of experiences, live shoots and so on. We do quite a lot of trade marketing as well. So we're quite strong across a number of different sectors, from consumer to B2B to cultural to sport and public events, and really proud of that mix. And it's exciting times.
Exciting. That's a new way of describing things. I think we all know it's a well-worn path, a broken record, that the events industry has been impacted really hard by COVID-19. But I suppose you could argue almost that maybe this was the sort of wake-up call the industry actually needed to galvanise itself and to refocus. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I referenced the word exciting because you have to turn this situation that has been very difficult for the whole industry, and I'm not going to demean that in any shape or form, but you've got to turn it into something that's an opportunity. And that's what I mean by exciting. I mean, we're all in survival mode, there's no doubt about that. But, I think it's a bit harsh to say in hindsight, that there was a necessary wake-up call, but I think in some respects, there are clearly some tired traditional models out there that haven't changed much in 20, 30 years. A purely tactical approach was saturating the industry increasingly, which is fine when the going's good, right? And then in certain areas, our industry was being eroded and by other comms functions such as PR and marketing agencies encroaching into our arena because there was an opportunity for them to add some value to it. So to move the industry to a more credible position is more content and strategic partnership association with clients. It's got to be led by creative, supported by credible measurement, clearly demonstrating added value. And this has been a big growth area for some that have embraced that. I mean, look at the experiential sector of the industry. It's developed strong credibility over the last sort of decade, maybe 15 years in consumer-facing experiences, and now some of those agencies are increasingly doing B2B activations on those same principles. Smyle was mostly B2B, and then about 5-6 years ago, we developed perhaps now approximately a third of our work as more public and consumer experiences, whilst in parallel enhancing its B2B approach on the same principles. So all delivered with the highest level of production and tech deployment from in-house. So if you're reliant on one main industry sector or one big client that dominates your agency's revenue, which is not unusual, it's great when everything's flying and you're order taking, but when there's a change in mood, that can become a massive problem. And look, where's the barriers to entry to this industry? They're minimal. So, where were the clear USPs for a lot of agencies? What were the clear differentiators in a position in the market? I feel that a lot of agencies could be said to doing the same thing with little points of difference, and perhaps innovation, and that can only result in one thing. So it's easy to say this in hindsight, but I think there has been a lack of investment in some areas for flexible, progressive models which offer resilience, and that's what we need right now: resilience against client market movements, a recession, or similar disruption, including sustainability, which offers its own requirements for a more enhanced approach. So yeah, it may well be a wake up call, but it's for some it was it was a wake up call perhaps of the last recession, or after the last big disruption in the industry. It's probably the ash cloud. For some they did recognise that they needed more of a resilient model.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, events exist, or certainly they should exist, to fulfill a business objective. So demonstrating a return on investment on live experiences now, after all these digital events that we've been kind of forced into taking and learning very quickly, is surely going to be harder for agencies to justify that ROI, I guess, and corporates too. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it all comes down to the objectives, including audience reach and the experience that they'll have. Events aren't the solution to a business challenge. They're a medium to deliver messages that promote behavioural change. That's the solution, and what a strategic relationship with the client is orientated around. So, providing solutions to business challenges, not just producing a tactical product of a live event. And I'm not sure enough agencies have this commercial positioning enough, and hence live events are in a no small part still perceived as a tactical product in some areas, rather than one of a range of mediums that can be used to achieve communication objectives. This will open the scope for comparison between what can be achieved virtually to achieve those business objectives with effective enhanced tech use that now we're getting more used to and innovating on it in a fast track way, and what can't, and therefore what only a physical experience can deliver. Virtual can do what physical can't, and physical can do what virtual can't. Hence, I strongly believe the hybrid approach going forward will gain a lot of traction in the future as a potential optimum solution for communicating content and best supporting changes in behaviour that's required accordingly. It'll perhaps reach a wider possible audience, and the key is aligning the virtual experience with the physical experience, married with closer security now over travel, biosecurity, and a more sustainable approach. That's got to be, what will enhance both, the physical value of an experience as well as the more tech deployed virtual experience. So I don't know if it's actually therefore going to be harder. It should, in theory, be easier to demonstrate that the two combined can have a better ROI, I guess, on a live experience. And don't understand, live experience is a virtual as well as a physical event. Live is just the fact that it's happening live. So I think that's more to the point of what's going forward. Clients will be looking for is how to leverage both to get the best output from their investment.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Absolutely. So let's kind of look at the mid and long-term challenges. This virus has presented us with an opportunity for change, I guess. Where should we be focusing? I mean, the government support's not going to last forever, but there's a bigger picture developing here, surely. Yeah,
as the Chancellor said, not every company can't save every company. And I don't think we're going to get through this without there being sort of casualties within our own industry, because obviously it's one of the hardest hit. The mid-long-term challenges, you've got to turn them into opportunities, because, a challenge, there's always challenges in business, and often it's either from a market movement or changes in clients' expectations, or it's the fact that there are new elements coming in from an innovation perspective, or more requirement of different talent. The virus has presented with all of these, all in one hit, incredibly quickly. So, the long-term requirement to meet the challenge is resilience. And that's an easy thing to say and quite a hard thing to do, especially in a massively fast speed that we need to do that in. But it does require, the challenge is investing in talent and dynamic modeling that enables the adaptation of your own agency or your own business, and therefore the industry at pace. And that comes down to having a really strong management team that can have that sort of that risk and reward approach, because any investment to combat a challenge is a risk, and that's even harder to do when you're in survival mode, as we all are. But it's got to start with a strategic approach to relationship with the client. it's got to start with, strong creative and content-led approach that positions us as a more strategic partner, not a tactical solution, because therefore the value is demeaned and clients don't see, perhaps in a time when budgets will be more scrutinized, results will be more scrutinized. There needs to be a more strategic approach to leverage that investment and get it across procurement, get it signed off and repeatedly used as a key part of the marketing and communication mix. Alongside that, there is the sustainability element. I think it's hopefully quite recognised that myself and Smyle have been at the forefront of leading a lot of sustainable initiatives with the Sustainable Event Summit a number of years ago and other things more recently. And if you look at what the virus has enhanced is an appreciation of the frailty of our ecosystem, well-being within our audience, our talent, our clients and their staff. And so a more sustainable approach that covers that is going to be a challenge that presents opportunities for agencies and businesses that are able to create solutions that are entwined within briefs and projects, where sustainability is not a bolt-on, it's not an option, it's very much embedded within that, with clear sort of measurement and reporting that enhances the client experience to meet those new expectations of clients. So, you've got to have a really strong new approach to your talent and the dynamic modeling of what the skill sets now required, because there's going to be a shift on that to having more of an understanding of digital and tech, a more commercial understanding of what clients really are up for spending their money on, married with a more sensitive approach to sustainability, whether that's across well-being, community investment, or the obvious emissions element. So I think those are some challenges which present opportunities for businesses that are able to confront them and are prepared to invest in them on a balanced risk basis.
Yeah, quite so. I mean, it's great that you touched on the sustainability issue there at all. I just wanted to kind of wrap up, really. I mean, beyond the things you've mentioned, are there any other opportunities for the industry here that that we can embrace collectively?
I mean, our specific industry is going to have serious challenges with travel, and therefore a solution to that, alongside not actually, some companies wanting their staff to travel, some individuals within those businesses not wanting to travel potentially. There's a big biosecurity challenge here, and I think a collaboration of government, venues and agencies creating a benchmark, which I think other countries are also working on, and a sort of a base standard that's agreed that all agencies and venues should agree to, whether it's certificated or not is another matter, for biosecurity, which will demonstrate that travel and attending a physical event can be safe through a number of different measures, during the registration process, track and trace, and testing perhaps on arrival, social distancing, the actual logistics and movement around those physical events. That's something that needs to happen urgently, and I know that I'm on the senior advisory panel board that discusses this with government, along with another few agency heads and venue leaders as well, with Nigel Huddleston, the culture minister, and we have discussed that, and I know the BVP is perhaps looking at that as well as leading that collaborative approach. And I think that plays into sustainability obviously as well, with more sustainable credentials as part of creative solutions. You can actually have a really exciting enhanced approach to an event which has sustainability elements entwined within it, and it actually enhances the audience experience, especially the expectation of the audience is it doesn't become it isn't a result of going to an event is a wasteful project. And if you communicate that and demonstrate that pre, during and post the experience of how you enhance the experience with more sustainable elements through it, then that actually adds value to the audience experience and maybe the messaging as well. So that's another opportunity. I do think that partnerships is probably the final one. We're obviously collaborating with different types of businesses that perhaps we haven't before. They're reaching out to us, we're reaching out to them. I think there's been a lot more communication amongst our peers. I've been on a number of forums. I was one with you, I think, a week or so ago. And that's actually quite healthy as well. And sharing knowledge, realizing this industry is all our responsibility to move forward, I think is a very positive opportunity for more collaboration. Obviously, competitive advantage has to stay at a certain level, but I do think that sharing those elements of understanding and experience is healthy and demonstrates a growing maturity, which our industry needs to demonstrate. So yeah, exciting, because you have to embrace this disruption as an opportunity if you want to advance the industry and therefore also advance your own agency or your own business. But under no illusions, a huge challenge for all of us to have that mindset and keep focused.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope that the future is as bright as the background that you've chosen for our interview today. Rick, you're a busy man. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for chatting to us.